Joining me now is Stephen Coates. He's the President Director of Grove Corporate Services. And Stephen, you've had several releases of late that really show the benefits of using Grove Corporate Services. But first, before we get to those releases, can you walk me through what Grove Corporate Services actually does?
Sure, thanks, Pat. It's great to talk again. Grove Corporate Services is a back office service provider to small cap companies, mostly public, but also some private companies, where we cover the needs of companies from finance and accounting, bookkeeping, to total financial reporting, corporate secretarial, governance and regulatory issues, and then help companies with managing their financings and to specialty services like listing in the US, or primary listings, initial IPOs or RTOs here in Canada.
Okay, so I'll walk through some of those releases that might illustrate some of those services. Honey Badger Silver Incorporated, which I think is a mining company. You did a big financing for them?
Yeah, Honey Badger's a new client for us. Great group of people, run by a fellow named Chad Williams, who's certainly well known in the exploration and finance business. And well, I don't want to take too much credit. They did the raise. We're not a dealer, so we weren't doing that. But what we were managing was the process behind the private placement they did. So taking that frustration off of management and their team, and doing it more cost effectively than it might be to contract out to your lawyers, or in cases where you're not doing it with a broker. So it's in cases where it's a non-brokered placement. There's a lot of filing. There's a lot of forms to fill in. There's a lot of back and forth with individual investors to make sure that they've filled out their forms correctly and you've got all the proper details, and the company has met its obligations in properly understanding people who take part in a private placement. And Honey Badger is interesting, actually, because they've also used a startup called Share Chest, which is a little Autobot, but primarily directed at people who are interested in investing in companies and helping to serve their interests. And Share Chest was actually what started the potential financing for Honey Badger. Enough people came to their website and said, "I really like your company. If you're going to do a private placement, please let me know." And lo and behold, it turned into a hugely oversubscribed financing. They closed $3 million, and we were it was fun. It was great to be part of it.
When it's hugely oversubscribed like that, do you manage the distribution component, or is that somebody else?
Well, we will work with management in terms of how they want to approach that, and that the first come first serve, or it could be a sort of across the board. If somebody asks for X, they get half X, and that varies from situation to situation. But that's really a management decision.
Yeah, and you've got the expertise. Another release came out from iVirtual Technologies, which I take it is a new client for you as well.
Yeah, they are. And iVirtual is actually a private company. Another really interesting little startup technology, the next wave in augmented reality. So they've got an app called Heymoji, where you take a photo of yourself, front, and a photo back, full body images. They create a 3D emoji that you can then make GIFs and little videos, like as if you had a green screen and all the stuff that would go along with it. And very interesting aspect. Their technology is, I think, the next step in augmented reality, where rather than things being all point of view, you can actually be in the game or walking around the store or the mall that you're looking at clothes in, or that sort of thing. So we're helping them with their finance and accounting back end. They don't need a full-time accountant or CFO, but they need somebody to keep the books going, and then helping them with the regulatory filings as they get ready to go public in the next 4 or 5 months.
So you walk them through that whole process. You also have existing clients, obviously. One of them is Royal Winds, and you help them with a reverse takeover. A lot of people wouldn't know what a reverse takeover is, so maybe we should walk through that, but also tell me more about what it is they're doing.
Yeah, well, reverse takeover is one of those names that actually makes a lot of sense when you hear what it is, right? It's a takeover, but at the end of the day, what you're taking over is much larger than you are. So it's really more like they're taking you over. So it's a sort of a takeover in reverse. Royal Winds is an Australian hyper casual, pure skill gaming company. So think of Candy Crush, but rather than it simply being luck, their games are all about skill. And they were recently licensed for gaming, for gambling, for cash betting by the Kananakwe Gaming Commission in Quebec. And so they have full live betting worldwide, subject in individual countries to any legislation which would always supersede your gaming license. But in Canada, much of Europe, Africa, and much of Asia, people can go online, they can bet using PayPal accounts. And you've seen lots of these ads for lots of these new kind of gaming companies. Royal Winds is interesting because they are the first pure skill, fully licensed gaming company in the world to be going public. And so, yeah, we helped them with the reverse takeover, which was an existing public company that is acquiring that business. It's now been acquired, and they are now going to list and looking to list on the Canadian Stock Exchange. And I think we'll be maybe a month or a month and a half away from that. The Royal Winds is it's been a really interesting business. They've been in operation for about 7 years. They've got cash flow, they've got revenues. They're not quite profitable yet, but yeah, interesting.
How did you get, Royal Winds is, correct me if I'm wrong, they're from Australia. How would you get an Australian company to use your services?
Yeah, it's interesting the way we come across opportunities. In this case, they had done a transaction with a Singapore-based group. That Singapore-based group had been dealing with some investors in Vancouver. The investors in Vancouver knew us. And so the conversation went that they were looking for the potential to go public, thought Canada was probably the right place. We met them last June or July and started, get to know the business, get to understand it, to help to raise some money, and have become, really active with them. A great team.
And the last time you and I chatted, we were talking about AGM Connect. What's the latest there?
Well, as you know, we're just heading into annual meeting season. So AGM Connect is getting very busy. We've had a lot of interest, and we've just finished putting the final touches on the new launch of our platform. So we can do online, real-time voting, video meetings, allowing people to join and participate in the annual meeting, trying to make that meeting more relevant, as we talked about before, make it interesting and make it worthwhile for both investors and shareholders, and also for the company itself to talk about what they're doing and what's going on in the market. And the new platform is great. It's been a lot of fun to figure out all those ins and outs.
Well, and the thing is, though, I don't think anybody saw COVID going on this long. And AGM Connect obviously is a COVID inspired, if you will, kind of a product out there. Do you anticipate that once COVID does go away, and God knows when that's going to happen, that AGM Connect can expand their services even more?
Absolutely, and I think first of all, you're absolutely right. It was born out of an opportunity that we sort of jumped on initially as a trying to help our clients out of an issue, and then saw that there was a market for it, and really thought it wouldn't exist past last June or September or December. And here we are, a year later. We've done about 65 annual meetings in the last 10 months. And we've got about 30 or 40 on the docket over the next 4 or 5 months. So the opportunity to expand and continue, absolutely. And as people are now becoming more comfortable with the idea that video conferencing, works, and maybe it's not purely a virtual meeting, but maybe as we get back into the real world, they become hybrid meetings where you have an in-person meeting, but you make access available to your shareholders wherever they are in the world to join in and participate.
Yeah, tremendous opportunity there. Speaking of expansion, Am I correct in saying it looks like you've expanded your office space as well?
Yeah,
I take it you've got some more staff coming on board.
we have. It's been a busy 6 months. We're now up to a staff complement of 14, and we moved into some new office space, and we've moved out of the individual offices where I could shut my door and put my head on my desk and relax, to a completely open bullpen, and which has been great, because we function a lot better as a team. Of course, we're not all here. Today is actually a busy day. I think there's 4 of us in the office, and fortunately, being the back office of exploration companies and mining companies, we're considered an essential service in that respect. So, but we still try and make sure that we're keeping our distance, and really can't wait till we get to the point where we got the whole team in the office, and can have some fun together as a team, as well as get the work done.
And Stephen, I look forward to meeting up with you yet again at some point in the future. Thanks so much for your stories.
Thanks, Pat. Always great to talk to you. Have a great day.
Stephen Coates, he's the president and director of Grove Corporate Services.